Okay. Am I live? Let's figure it out. I think so. This is my first time using OBS. So I don't know. It's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Look at me, I'm all fancy. Like I'm using my camera the same as I do for my videos. Look at me. Hello. I don't know if you've ever tried to help a parent set up a VPN on their Chromecast, but if there's ever any proof that I love my parents, it's that I helped set up a VPN on their Chromecast via phone. So that they could get around the geo restrictions on Cleveland Guardians game blackouts on the MLB app. I'm just saying. Hi Sheila, hi Lisa. I'm honestly kind of shocked that my OBS stream is working. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah. So how has everyone been? I actually have the Elomir video. It's already I've already recorded it. I just have to edit it once later. And then it'll go out for Patreon. So that'll definitely be going up by tomorrow morning. I feel really good about that one because I can always tell how long it's going to take me to edit something by how smoothly it went when I was recording it. Rutro says, my parents think I'm a genius because I know computers. It's really just Googling. I know, right? It's or it'll just be me clicking through random things and seeing trial and error, but I get it, they find it intimidating, and hey, it makes them think that I'm really smart. So hello everybody. Hello Stephanie. Hello Michelle. Hi. Oh my god, thank you. It's good to hear. We're playing Liar Liar. That was a lot of fun. I'm getting to yes, I'm getting to where certain tech things annoy me too. Yeah, seriously, where they just change stuff. I think you have a higher tolerance for tech bullshit when you're younger, I feel like. And it just gets less and less as you get older, where you're just I'm not dealing with your nonsense. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Let's see here. Or changing the batteries in the mouse and keyboard. Yes. Mom called me last night because she couldn't figure out how to wake her computer up from sleeping. Turns out her monitor's turned off. And it's always so hard to ask them if their monitor is turned off without sounding like a smart ass too. Because you're is it plugged in? When phones stopped having headphone jacks, I lost it. I feel with the headphone jack thing, I don't understand why they got rid of it. They said it was to save space or whatever, but didn't they open up the iPhone and there was nothing in the space where the headphone jack used to be? It was just a void. So I don't know what's the deal with that. With the whole and the other thing is here's the thing. I'm just going to go on a thing about headphones here for a second. If you want wired headphones, there still, to this day, are not that many USB-C headphones available, or even lightning connector headphones if you have an iPhone. So it's really annoying that they've gotten rid of the headphone jack, but USB-C or lightning headphones have not come in to take their place. Because here's the thing. With Bluetooth headphones, the audio is always going to sound terrible off the mic. The mic on Bluetooth headphones, it is always going to sound bad. It is a limitation of the Bluetooth specification. Bluetooth headphones can do good audio quality in stereo, or they can do mic and out, like they can do input and output at the same time, and it's going to sound terrible. But they can't do good audio quality and input and output at the same time. You can't use the mic and have good sound quality at the same time on Bluetooth headphones. So it's really nice to be able to use wired headphones when you need to use the mic, because then it'll sound good and then the mic will also sound good. Right? Okay. But like, they don't make USB-C or Lightning headphones other than like 2 choices. It sucks. Makes me so mad. It's for the Bluetooth Liquid, duh. Yeah, to sell more AirPods. I'd see that. Do you get it at the same place as Blinker Fluid? Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Preach. I agree. It's so frustrating. It is. I don't understand why my AirPod Pros glitch out when they're connected to my laptop. Like they drop the sound off and on. I've tried everything. I have no idea. A lot of times what's happening though is like if you're using the mic on Bluetooth headphones, whenever the mic like turns on, the sound is gonna like drop from like whatever's playing, and it's gonna sound really weird for a second, and then it'll sound really weird the entire time that you're using the mic, because that's just the way that Bluetooth is. There's nothing that can be done about it. It's super annoying. That's why I like wired headphones. Yeah. At least with Samsung deals, I still get a pair of wireless headphones. That's nice. Beats connected to my iPhone. Love. Yeah, I mean, I like then it's like it's undeniable. Like the Bluetooth is really, really convenient. But like sometimes I want to be able to hear good quality and also use the mic at the same time. Like you can tell when someone is using a wired mic when they call you. Like. It's because they work perfectly. They're also Bluetooth, so it's weird. Really just have I have a Pixel 7. I have a Pixel 7 Pro. Most wireless headphones are too big for my tiny ears. I have tiny ears as well. My ears are itty bitty. Although a lot of times people don't notice that my ears are really little until they like actually look at them. But I do. I have really tiny ears. Bluetoothing my phone connected to my car though, sometimes it sounds like the music skips. Like, you know what happens to me with Bluetooth in my car? There's this microwave transmitter thing or whatever on my way to work, and every time I drive past it, my Bluetooth disconnects. It's so annoying. Because I figured out like that's what it is, because it's always in the same place that my Bluetooth drops out, and I'm like. You know, first world problems. Nice. Pixel 7 regular. Pixel. The best. Okay. People don't know that the Pixel has this feature. It is such an underrated feature of the Pixel that you can have it screen your calls if an unknown caller or if like someone that's not in your contacts calls you. You can set it so that the Google Assistant will answer the call for you. And then it will ask the caller why they're calling, and then it'll show you in text what they said to the Google Assistant, what they're calling about, and then you can decide if you want to decline the call or accept it. Jealous much? It's the best feature on a Pixel. That's like an entire reason to buy a Pixel. I'm just saying. Boom. Yes, the call screening it's the best. It is the best. It's my favorite thing. I don't answer any calls now. Yes, the hold for me option is also great. Pixels, when you call somewhere and you get put on hold, it'll show you all the menu options in advance, and it'll also notify you when someone finally picks up your call. Yeah. It's weird. Like, no one ever talks about those features. Everyone talks about the camera, but like those are freaking killer. Oh yeah, I never answer phone calls because I have phone anxiety. The only people that I'll talk to on the phone is like my mom and my dad. You know, but at least then I know what call I rejected. um. Oh yeah, like I'll hear my phone will start ringing, and I'm just like, oh. Gloria, it's in the phone. If you open the phone app, it's in your settings there. It should be in like the top thing. You'll be able to turn on the hold for me. It's hold for me, and then there's also call screening, and you can set like 4 different things for which calls you want it to screen. I would answer mom back too. Ugh. I Your local nerd says I only talk to my family and my one weird friend who doesn't like texting, and they're still your friend. My birthday is Thursday. Can I get a shout out from one of my favorite shows? Well, I'll say happy birthday. Happy early birthday. Okay, it's early. Who calls anymore? I don't know. It's a good question. Robots call. People who call anymore. Katrina, are you from the Midwest? That was a positive anymore. You're gonna confuse people using anymore like that. I confuse people in Utah and in California all the time saying anymore like that. The positive anymore, where you go, anymore, people would just text instead of calling. Or like, yeah. Anymore. Pennsylvania, I knew it. The positive anymore. Uh-huh. Where you'll be like, anymore, I like nectarines just as much as peaches. Yeah, it is. It confuses them. It confuses people. Like, yeah. Here's another thing that I do sometimes that is a feature of Midwestern speech. I'll be like, yeah, that needs washed. That my car needs washed. Where you just delete the to be in there. The technical term is infinitival copula deletion. Yeah. It's very I feel like it's anywhere where like stap it. Yeah, I know, right? No, I don't say warshed, but my grandma said warshed all the time. Oh, I always notice put this over top, over top of. Yes. Ah, Gloria says California hubby does positive anymore. Parents are from Ohio. That's why. Yeah. It's a very Ohio thing. And even some parts of Ohio don't do it. Like, it's really weird. I had no idea, like, that it confused people until I moved to California. And people were like, what? They're like, that sentence doesn't make any sense with any more there. So anymore, I have to clarify. My grandma said wash and changed her oral in her car. My grandma always talked like that too. She always said wash, or our when our middle school class had like a field trip. My grandma was like, "Oh, so how was Washington D.C.?" Maybe because we're the weird part of California. Oh wait, is your local nerd says, is the car needs wash weird? I hear people say that all the time. I'm from California. The central, I could see the Central Valley saying it. But I feel like it's probably influenced by if I remember correctly, the whole infinitival copula deletion thing is I believe it's originally like a Scottish influence. So if your area of California has a lot of like Scottish heritage, that might be why. Usually anywhere where there's been a lot of like Scottish immigrants, you'll start to see like infinitival copula deletion. I had an art teacher that said all for oil. Yeah, people in southeastern Ohio, they're always saying like far for fire. Far, afar, afar. 1 2 tree instead of 1 2 3. That's very Pennsylvania. 1 2 tree. That's. I feel like that's Philly. I don't know. Cut things half in two. Yes. I live in Washington State and I hate it when people add that R that isn't there. Yeah, Warsh. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. It was super confusing. I was just saying like oral pastels. Yeah, I feel like it's not a. I don't remember where I first heard that because I think it was because I wrote it. It was at USC and I was in my sophomore dorm and I wrote a note to one of my apartment mates and I said something about like something that needed to be done or whatever, but I just said like needs. It wasn't washed. I forget what it was. It was like needs soaked or something. And like he went through the note and like added a caret and put like to be. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you correcting my speech? Like, fuck you. So like then I had to look up to see like what was going on here. That was like unclear here. I had a history teacher that would say Wawa 1, Wawa 2. Oh, that's just weird. Like, why wouldn't you just say World War I and World War II? I remember when I lived in Massachusetts and worked in Rhode Island, they would always say like draw for like a drawer. But then like when the technicians would say that they were going to get an amount out of a vial with a syringe, they would say that they were going to draw her out. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I can't draw her out of here. There's just like an R that randomly just like appears. But like, you know, if it's like think something in the furniture, then that's a draw. You know. Am I missing ski season? Yeah, a little bit. You know, but it's only going to be like the non-ski season part of this year is only going to be like 3 months. So I can't really miss it that much. But yeah, I'm missing it like candy. Fourth floor. Yes. Although, you know, if you're like in like, if you're in like St. Louis though, you have like there, and there. I'm from Louisiana, so TH is D. So my father grew up in Euclid, Ohio, which is like right around East Cleveland, and he sometimes has that TH to D thing, but that's more of like an urban influence. It's odd. Let's see, we're having time with anything like Troy or drawer. Troy. My hiking now that ski season's over. Yeah. People in Utah. I hiked Mount Olympus on Friday after work, like as if that's a normal thing to do. So I ended up coming down like in the dark, which was kind of fun actually, but I thought I was gonna die. I was like, I want to do something that like tortures me. I had a Walmart greeter insist years ago that I was from Canada. That's weird. Although, like, okay, there are some Canadian accents that kind of sound like very Californian in a way. like I feel like it's mostly like Toronto area has like a lot of the same features as like Californian English. Like I almost confuse them sometimes. It's like I don't know. Anyone else ever hear that? Like there's like a similar like drawl to it like sometimes. And it's going to be hot. Yes, it is going to be hot. I say draw for drawer. And Troy or Roy, I have to say super slowly to get the sound out, like painful. I have trouble saying Cracker Barrel. Torture can be fun. It can. It seems. I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived in well, let's see. I started off in Ohio, and then I moved to California, Los Angeles. And then I lived in Massachusetts when I was going to pharmacy school. Worcester specifically. Then I lived in Quincy, Massachusetts, and then I moved to New Hampshire, and then I moved back to LA, and now I'm here, and in Draper. The Californian sketch from Saturday Night Live is like for Los Angeles, it's like sadly really accurate. It's pretty funny, like. Yeah. It's because in LA, here's the thing, is in LA, there's no weather to really talk about most of the time. So, you got to talk about something else. So what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about like, where did you park and how did you get here? Like, so that's what you do. You're like, yeah, like I just got here. I took the 10 all the way to the 405 and then I just got off on San Vicente and I know a coffee bean that fully validates. Like it's like you might think that like it's not accurate at all, but like actually it kind of is. Everyone wants to know, how did you get here and where did you park? The rural thing that makes me think of that on 30 Rock, the rural juror, and then like there's Rachel Dratch doing that impression of Barbara Walters is like the Roger. Yeah, but I mean that's just my hypothesis on why people in LA like to talk about directions and parking. As I figure it's because there's no weather to talk about, so that's what you talk about. In St. Louis, my husband is from there, and everyone asks, where did you go to high school? I could see that being a topic. Yeah. Have you ever been here? Who's your favorite YouTuber? I've never been to Ireland. I think it looks beautiful though. Seems like it would be. Yeah, I've never been to Ireland, and I've never been to the United Kingdom. I've been to continental Europe, many countries there, but I've never been to the British Isles. My favorite YouTuber. I don't know if I have a single favorite. I have a lot of faves. I would love to visit Ireland as well. I would love to visit Ireland. I would love to visit the United Kingdom, but I haven't yet. I'd love to visit both places, both isles, but I have not visited either country. Just to be clear, like, yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, I would love to visit Scotland. Oh my God. There'd be so much hiking for me to do. like Scotland invented hiking and mountaineering. Oh, Stephanie, I'm your favorite. I love that. I love when people say crown for cran. It makes me smile. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think I always just say like crayon. I can't say crayon. Oh, here's a word. The stuff that you make by like when you do something to sugar, when you heat it in a pan, a reaction occurs. Yeah. That for some most of the time for me that only has 2 syllables. It's caramelizing. That's very like Southern Ohio. Caramel comes caramel. And then I moved to California and they're like caramel. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? You say that second A? It caramelizes. Yeah, I drop it. I don't caramelize. That's too many syllables. Caramelize. I'm just like, no, it caramelizes. I don't know. You can think it's trashy of me, but that's the way that I talk. Right? Caramel sounds very pretentious to me, even though I know that like it's the way that you're supposed to say it or whatever. Supposed to. Maybe we're just well, see, I think most people in the upper Midwest or in the Midwest would say pecan, but I know that in the South it's pecan. Like I'm pretty sure it's like unanimously pecan in the South, right? Right? I'm pretty sure of it. But I always said pecan cuz I guess cuz I'm a Yankee. I'm just one of those Yanks. Eh. Oh, really? You say pecan? Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like that makes you an outsider in Texas, though. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought in the South it was always pecan. Yeah. So I was pretty sure. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Are we confusing you, Sheila? I'm sorry. You know, there was this hilarious. I had to call into this thing for like a Utah government thing, and at the end of the message, it was like, "Para escuchar este mensaje en español, oprima numero nueve," and I'm just like, wow, that accent was terrible. And it said it exactly the way that I just said it. Like it was like, "Oh, prima numero nueve," and I'm just like, that's right on brand, right? Yeah, it was pretty terrible. It was. I mean, it might have been Spanish in spelling, but it was just pronounced straight Englishly. English is the worst language. I give so much props to those who learn it second. Yeah. Spelling is just. The other thing is like we don't realize that a lot of our vowels are like glides, like they're not pure vowels. That's what's going on with o prima instead of oprima. Like the vowel is shorter there, okay? Because what you're doing is you're doing a rounded vowel when you're saying it in English. You're going o. That's not what this o is not the same as o. They're not the same vowel. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, but it's like a lot of us don't. I feel like native English speakers don't realize that there's like extra shit going on with our vowels. So I have a lot of Latino friends. I told them I used to say mucho goodo. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Oh yeah. English loves to steal English will steal vocabulary, and then it'll steal it more than one time sometimes too. Like a lot of fashion words, like English has stolen twice. Like where like it'll steal it and then it'll get borrowed and then it'll steal the borrowed thing. You know. It was way easier to teach kids to read in Spanish. I've done first grade in both. Oh yeah, because well in Spanish, like there would never be like two possible ways to pronounce something. Like there's only one way to pronounce that word unless it is being, spelled incorrectly by the person who wrote it down. Like it's either that or it's not. Like with English it's like, well, you can't know how to pronounce the word just from looking at it. What, you think the way that it's spelled is going to tell you how to pronounce it? That would be too simple. Funny colloquialisms from your home. In Ireland, when someone wears trousers too small, we say his cats are dead. That's hilarious. I love that. Man, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm probably gonna think of one later, and then I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and remember a colloquialism to say. They would always say like the hay's in the barn or whatever. Kind of a dumb thing to say. Act like we invented it, then after being stolen and spit out. I mean, it's pretty on brand for the English, you know? English is one long vowel movement. Accurate. I before E, except after C. Yeah, except in weird or foreign or like most words or believe or like Spanish, Turkish is pronounced as written always. I feel like most languages are pretty consistent about like the way that they're written. It's just like it's dumb because part of it is just like English tries really hard to like preserve the way that something was written in another language, like how we spell photography with a ph. Like in Spanish that's not a thing, because like Spanish is like, yeah, well, we write that sound with an F in Spanish, okay? So it doesn't matter how it was written in Greek. Like English is like, no, it's ph, it's totally different from F, you guys. Like you gotta write it with a ph. If some, but there tends to be French words in them that I can't spell. Well, yeah, that's the other thing about English is it's because it's like Frenchy German. The hay's in the barn means like the time for you to be making preparations is over, and however ready you are now is however ready you're gonna be. The hay is in the barn. Yeah. And they have extra. Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about Welsh. When I was doing nails, one of my favorite clients would say that she had to go pay the water bill when she needed to go to the bathroom. I'm going to start saying that now. But then why did we drop the U, color, and favorite? We make no sense. It's so true. Although, like, now I feel like Canada especially is like very, very adamant about putting the U in favorite and color, because like they want to like insist that they're like totally not Americans, right? Like they're so different from us, and it's like, oh, okay, yep, you're as different as night and later that night. Canada just wants to make sure everybody knows that they're not American. Like they're very like, no, we're not. Okay, we're so different. It's like, okay, Canada, yeah. What's interesting about American English versus British English is a lot of the time the older thing, it's a lot of the times it's the UK English that changed and not American English. It happens a lot of times. It happens in Spanish as well, where the Latin American way of saying something will actually be the older way, and the way that they say it in Spain is the new way that changed, because a lot of times those updates didn't quite make it to the colonies. So they just had the way that they've always been talking, and then like some new thing happened in the colonizers' country, you know. I don't know, like vosotros. It's not that like Latin American Spanish lost that. It's that like that was a new thing that developed in Spain, and like that update did not come to Latin America. And the same kind of thing happens in English as well, like where a lot of times it's the UK that changed, and it's just the American one stayed the same. I've been trying to learn Korean because I watch K-dramas, but Duolingo is working for me. Korean is hard. I mean, it's hard to learn. It's yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the languages that would be like least related to any European language is going to be like, Japanese, Chinese, Korean. Like, they're just completely like you can't really get more unrelated. I asked Google to spell some things for me, and it says America spelled that way, UK spelled that way. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. See. Yeah. The current Finnish citizens versus. Yeah. It's the originating country will update and evolve and stuff, and a lot of times the ones who are the satellite or the colony or whatever, it just gets kind of frozen in time. Yeah, I feel like Duolingo. I'm skeptical of how much Duolingo can really help you learn. I honestly, to really learn a language, I feel like you got to get immersed in it. Like, you got to like actually travel there and like live there and be forced to kind of use it. I don't know, which is like not a practical for a lot of people, I realize. Probably what would help more is just to keep watching the shows and keep trying to understand more and more of what you're hearing, and probably put like Korean subtitles on so that you get more of like what they're saying. But you don't want to put translated subtitles on. You want to like put them in Korean and hear it in Korean, so that you can see like what the words look like that you're hearing. I feel like that helps a lot, because all I'm going to say is, in my Spanish class in high school, we watched the Spanish version dub of Mean Girls, Chicas Pesadas, with Spanish subtitles. And, it was Spanish audio with Spanish subtitles, and that helped me a lot. She's like, no puedo salir. Estoy enferma. Uf, serás puta. I don't know why they let us watch that in high school, but okay. I'm so embarrassed to actually practice on people I know who speak it. Yeah. Spanish, I don't know. Spanish is okay. It's not that hard. It's pretty consistent, The only thing about Spanish is that, like, when you're learning like vocabulary for it, they'll be like very different in different countries. That's where like really it's like colloquial expressions for like vocabulary, and like colloquial expressions, they'll get wildly different country by country. and like sometimes very funny. But usually, they'll understand that, like, you can't know everything about their particular way of speaking. They're pretty understanding, I find. I mean, hell, like, most of the time, Spanish speakers are just impressed that you know how to speak any Spanish at all, because they're so used to people who look like they wouldn't be able to speak Spanish not knowing any Spanish at all. So, I don't know. Usually they're pretty impressed. It's pretty easy to impress them. I feel like most of the time. And they're just nice people anyway. Favorite Spanish word is pendejo. That is a good one. It is. I like when you can just make like a verb out of it too. Like, you can pendejar. Yeah, and a lot of times, to people who don't speak Spanish natively, the Spanish of different countries sounds like exactly the same, but really, like, it's like, no. They're pretty different. Yeah, especially like when you start getting to like the farther south you go, the more kind of, I'm not saying like a judgment on the accent, like the more like to someone who learned Spanish in school here, the more off the rails it starts to sound the farther south you go. Like eventually you get into Argentina where it's like "Yo me llamo," like, and you're just like, what? Or like Chile, where they're like pololo, polola, and you're just like, are you actually speaking Spanish? Because I'm not sure. Like, trying to learn is can't roll my R's at all. Here's the thing that native English speakers don't realize about Spanish. The single R in Spanish, like in the word for but, like pero, that sound is the same sound that you make when you're saying ladder or butter or better. That TT or DD, that is the same as a Spanish single R. It's the exact same sound. So if you just make that when you see a single R in Spanish, you will make your accent a lot better. Just pretend it's like a TT or like a DD. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, like ladder is very similar to like that. It's like the same thing. Yeah, same sound. It's a flap. The thing with rolling the R is you really need to make like a narrow space between your tongue and the roof of your mouth, because the narrower it is, the easier it's going to be to get it to start vibrating. But yeah, it's a hard thing to do. You just have to practice it. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap up. We're going to wrap up. I can't fake snore either. I can roll R's, but only when I'm not thinking about it. That's the hard thing. Yeah. Trust, I relate to that, to only being able to do things when I'm not thinking about them. All the time. This was like a very like cerebral stream, you guys. This is a very cerebral stream. Okay, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you for coming to the stream, everybody, and thank you for bearing with me through the tech support difficulty. You know, they're my parents. I can't just abandon them. I have to help them out. You know, I have to be a good son. All right, everybody. Patreon, look for new video by tomorrow morning. And everybody else, it'll be up on Tuesday morning. And have a good night and have a great week. I hope you had a great weekend. I've been Mac. Peace out. Bye.